All right, before I get started, I also want to provide a disclaimer here. The thoughts and opinions in this broadcast is not to convict anyone, because no one has been arrested for this crime yet. No one has been convicted yet. But we're just putting this information out there because it's already out there. And a lot of people are thinking the same thing. This case is in plain sight. I honestly believe that. These are my thoughts only. This is not to be taken as fact. This is just to give you something to think about when it comes to this case. This case is not going away. We all know that there's no statute of limitations on murder. I don't know if she has been. Maybe she could still be alive. I'm not sure. But this case is not going away. And I think there's people out there that were close to Nancy Guthrie that wants this case to go away. They want this case to eventually go away. But this case is not going away. This is in plain sight now. My beliefs are, and these are my beliefs only, that there will be an arrest made. I'm going to let you hear some stuff that's very powerful. There's a guy there's some cold analysis being done here. And also, did you know that, I can't remember the channel or whoever came up with this situation, but they found a tattoo on the person on the camera. In the mask there to the left, he had a tattoo on his arm. And it was another independent journalist, I call them. They call us YouTubers or whatever, content creators, that found it. And the FBI paid attention. There's another person that's doing deep analysis. He also paid attention. I believe that there's two crime scenes. I do not believe that she ever made it home that night. Okay. And I do believe now that the blood that was found at her front of her house was placed there. Because there's no other signs of blood anywhere else unless they're not telling us. It could be blood in the house. But I'm talking about outside. There's no blood trail. That means it might have been placed there. Whoever is responsible for this was very, very close to her. When I say very close, I'm talking about extremely close to her. And it wasn't a stranger. I don't think so. I believe multiple people are going to get arrested. And the people that's going to get arrested is going to shock the world. Because if you have knowledge that someone committed a crime and you have not said anything, you can get arrested too. It seems like these people want to move on. All right, let's just hopefully eventually this will go away. This is not going to go away because you got YouTubers and stuff that cover this case every single day. This is not going away. It's not going away. They thought so, but this is new media. This is not going to go away. Because we feel like somebody's been playing in our face. That's what we feel like. And this one is not going to go away. That lady didn't deserve that. And somebody close to her, I believe, did it. And you know what this is going to come down to? You know what I think this is going to come down to? Money. What is a life worth to some people? Not much. So without further ado, let me let you hear this. This is good. Chantel, how's it going? Superfly, how's it going? What's going on? Tucson. Deb, how you doing? Guys, what this guy is about, I'm going to give you guys the link after this presentation is done. But guys, arrest is going to be made now. I'm sure guess who I think knows about this now? I'm pretty sure the president was briefed on this. I'm pretty sure he knows. Because did you know what happened? I didn't think he was going to do this, but did you know what he did? When he found out this was going on, everybody, when this first started, he opened up the government, all resources, he put all hands on deck. He did. He put all hands on deck. And he said, this opened up the resources to help. They didn't want help at first. They offered to take the analysis to Quantico. I used to live in Virginia, not too far from Quantico. It's in Virginia. It's one of the best labs in the planet. I know firsthand. I used to work for a lab for 20 years. I know for a fact it's the best in the business. They have some of the best minds in the planet, on the planet Earth, that works there. You mean to tell me you wouldn't send the analysis there? This crime scene could have been compromised, but guess what? Guess what? Guess what? The people that was responsible for this, they knew that the crime scene was going to be compromised. But guess what? They forgot about something. They thought that camera, that guy was playing in front of our face on camera, they didn't think that camera was being recorded. But guess what? Data is always being recorded. And thanks to the FBI that they stepped in time, they went and retrieved the data from Google. They went and retrieved it. Whoever was responsible for this murder or this kidnapping, because it hasn't been confirmed that she was murdered or not, just to be fair, whoever was responsible for this, they knew that camera wasn't being recorded. A stranger wouldn't know that. You understand me? A stranger would not know this. A stranger would not know this. Because if you are a person, if you are a criminal or a criminal mind of opportunity, I'm going to say this. If you're looking to do some crime of opportunity, meaning that you've been scoping out the house, you see that there's a camera. In your mind, you don't make assumptions. You assume that camera is working. Whoever went up to that camera, in their mind, that camera wasn't working. I believe that was a smokescreen to let people know that, okay, this person, she never made it home. Now they say that day, I don't know if I'm getting it right. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. She took an Uber to her family house. And Tomaso dropped her off. Okay? She never made it home. Somebody has a rendezvous with destiny now. Somebody does. Somebody has a rendezvous with destiny. It's coming. Somebody just said to me earlier, Max, I don't know how you were right about something, but you were right the whole time. And guess what? They told me this was a delay by a year. I had 2 people come to me and say, you were right about something that happened almost 2 years ago. I was attacked because of something. This person tried to put people against me. For the people to come and say, Max, you were right the whole time. If I'm dead on something, if I'm zeroed in on something, something's getting ready to happen. Remember, I said that it was somebody definitely close to her that did this. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that you weren't in your right mind. I don't want to hear this. You thought the cameras weren't being recorded. Data is always being recorded. Ask David. Ask D4VD. Ask him. You have some, you see, they don't realize this, that the president opened up all the resources. They have some of the best minds on this case right now. I bet you he knows. I bet you he does. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to be one of the first to announce it to us. There's an arrest made. Multiple arrests. Multiple. Because even if you had knowledge of it, you're part of the conspiracy, even if it's after the fact. This lady has lived there since the 1970s. After her husband passed away, she continued to live there. But the universe works in strange ways. That data was there. They retrieved that data. Thank God for the FBI. They retrieved the data. I'm going to tell you guys, for all I know, the FBI, they're some of the best in the business at stalking you. They're some of the best. This case ain't going away. They're going to solve it. They're definitely going to solve it. It's a shame. But now I got to let you guys hear something. Y'all got to hear something. Y'all got to hear this. Oh, just to let the person know, that person that was playing in our face, you were playing in our face. This person up here with the mask, you were playing in our face. But guess what? You had a tattoo. You had a tattoo. And it was caught. Unbelievable. Listen to this.
To a specific man in Tucson, Arizona. A man with a documented criminal record. A man who has spent 19 years playing in a band with the last person to see Nancy Guthrie alive. A man named Dominic Evans. By the time this video is over, you are not going to be asking whether the FBI matched that footage. You are going to be asking why it took this long.
All right, stop right there. You see how it started out? They gave a name. You know why? Because let me tell you something about the government with social media. You don't think the government created social media? They created it. So for this video to come out, they're letting you know they're playing with the person's mind now. That's what they're doing. If this person is responsible, they are now playing with this person's mind. Yeah, we know you did it. We know you were part of it. So we're just going to say your name. But we're not going to say it. We're going to let a YouTuber say it. How do you know that YouTuber ain't working for the government? We don't know. All I know is they created the internet. The internet has been around before 1993. It was around a long time. Before 1993, and Al Gore wasn't responsible for it. It's been around a very long time, since the 80s. It's been around. For those that are old enough that worked in corporate America or worked in the office, a very early form of it was called Lotus Notes. So they've been had this technology. But they said a name. So let's continue. They said a name.
This is Brian Records. This channel exists to go through evidence carefully, factually, and without flinching. Every source I use is linked in the description below. Go check it yourself. That is how we do things here. Now let us get into it. February 10th, 2026. FBI Director Kash Patel held a press conference. He released still images and a short video clip pulled from the doorbell camera at Nancy Guthrie's home in the Catalina Foothills neighborhood of Tucson, Arizona. The footage showed a single masked figure, dressed entirely in black, ski mask, nitrile gloves, an Ozark Trail 25-liter backpack, a handgun holstered at the waist. That figure stood on Nancy Guthrie's front porch at 1:47 in the morning of February 1st, 2026. Most outlets ran the footage for 30 seconds and moved on to the next story. Here is what most outlets did not tell you. That footage should not exist at all. Nancy Guthrie's Nest camera system did not have an active cloud subscription. The cameras were installed, they were powered on, they could detect motion and send alerts to a phone, but they were not storing continuous footage to the cloud.
And whoever was responsible for this, they know that this wasn't sending continuous footage to the cloud. And they also know it wasn't being recorded. Whoever that was responsible for this. It was somebody that had to be very close to that house to know that that camera wasn't being recorded. If I go to somebody, a random person's house, which oftentimes I do for my work, I see cameras. I'm assuming that it's being recorded. I'm not going to go to a house and say, oh, that's not being recorded because they don't have a subscription. A regular person's not going to know you don't have no subscription. That's a piece of evidence right there. A regular person is not going to know if you don't have subscription. How can you look at a camera and say, guess what? The way that camera's tilted, I could tell this family doesn't have a subscription. Oh, no. No. It was somebody close. And guess what? It's not a regular worker either. Because a regular worker is not going to have that. Hey, excuse me, Miss Guthrie, can I ask you a question? Yeah, sure. Do you have a subscription to your camera? Nobody's going to ask that. Somebody close knew. And I heard she was, someone asked her for money and she said no. 2 weeks prior to her going missing. Okay? That's evidence. Nobody is cleared here. When I say nobody is cleared, no one is cleared. No one. Not one. Not nobody close to her is clear. You know why? Because I just said, if you know something after the fact and you don't report it, that's a crime. Okay? We're not going to move on. We're not going to move on because you guys played in our face. And it took some internet sleuths to solve this thing. Because it was an internet sleuth, as they call us, said something about the tattoo first. It wasn't this what you're listening to now.
There was no saved recording to pull. The cameras were essentially expensive-looking props sitting on the wall of her home. The FBI had to partner directly with Google to recover residual data from back-end servers, data that had not been fully overwritten yet, data that Google's own engineers had to dig into specifically for this investigation. Think about what that means. Whoever planned this operation knew those cameras were not recording. They knew that walking onto that porch would not produce footage that investigators could immediately pull the next morning. They planned around a camera system they believed was useless. And they were almost right. Almost. The FBI got 44 seconds back from the digital grave. And inside those 44 seconds is enough physical information to build a profile that points directly at one specific person. When the FBI analyzed the doorbell footage, they did not just enhance the image and post it online. They applied reverse infrared technology. That process amplifies heat signatures and light differentials to pull out physical details that are invisible to the naked eye in standard footage. What came out of that process was specific. Here is the official physical description the FBI released on February 12, 2026. Male, 5'9" to 5'10", average build, black moustache and goatee visible through the openings in the ski mask. Stop right there. The suspect kept the mask on the entire time, and yet the FBI could still describe his facial hair, because the ski mask had eye holes and a mouth opening, and through those openings, under infrared enhancement, The dark hair of a moustache and a goatee was visible. That is not a generic description. A black moustache and a goatee narrows the field considerably. But it gets more specific. Former FBI profiler Jim Clemente reviewed the footage publicly. He identified what he believed to be a tattoo or a distinctive marking on the suspect's right wrist, visible in specific frames where the glove had ridden up slightly during movement. Right wrist, visible marking. Now hold all 4 of those data points in your head at the same time. 5'9" to 5'10", average build, black moustache and goatee, distinctive marking on the right wrist. Hold those 4 points, because now I need to tell you about Dominic Aaron Evans.
You see how they keep saying a name? So I have to give a disclaimer here. We're not saying that this person, I can't say that this person is 100% guilty. I can't say that. I'm not law enforcement. I'm not part of the investigation. I'm only presenting this to you so you could think about this. That's the whole point of this. Not to convict anybody, because no one has been arrested for this crime yet. They're on to something now. They're on, like I said, this person wouldn't just put names out there. I believe they doing it on purpose. But it's not going to come back to them because they're like, you could easily just look at it and say, well, that's not the FBI's page. I know it's not. But this person also has a criminal record. Oh, yes. This person has a criminal record. This person's in the system. Ain't that something? Let me just say another thing where this person made a mistake. This person is an amateur. You can look at the mask and tell. What mistake is that person making when you look at this mask right now? Just look at it. It's a mistake he's making. Well, let me hint you in on this. For me, I have distinct features that I cannot hide. Only I will have to put on shades. First of all, my eyes are far apart. That's number one. If I put that mask on, you'll be able to tell me. You'll be able to point me out immediately. And if not, if you can't point me out through there, you sure can point me out through my eye color. My eyes are green. Now, you might say, well, I could put contacts on. That is true. But guess what else is giving it away? My eyebrow color and my eyebrow shape. My eyebrows are brown. They're really, you could tell that they're brown. So if I put that mask on, you will be able to see my eyebrows. Like, okay, his eyebrows are brown. His eyes are green. That's Max. For sure. You'll be able to say that's Max. And my dumb ass will have the mask on with the Yankee hat on. Probably. Because I'm not a criminal. You guys will be laughing like he didn't even take his Yankee hat off. Because you know I'm known for wearing my hat. It's like a signature for me. I have my hat. I probably would have kept the damn hat on, to be honest with you. And I probably would have said something in front of the camera. And then you guys would have hit the floor. Because you're like, that's him. Why don't he take the mask off? He might as well just take the mask off. That person made a mistake because we could see the eyebrow shape. We could see it. We could see his eye color. Well, not in this. But you could see the shape of his eyes. Now that you can see the shape of his eyes, I had to hide that picture for a reason. It's almost like, oh my God. And then on top of it, he didn't wear the proper gloves to hide his tattoo. He's an amateur. And just to let you know, I wouldn't have done any better because I don't have a criminal mind. I don't have a criminal mind to be perfect. Some people do, though. Just like there's a real life Ocean's 11 out here. I don't know if y'all know that. There's a real life Ocean's 11 out here. They've never been caught. Never. Some people think it's just one theory is that it's a bunch of billionaire rich kids that are bored, that have access to crazy technology, that's getting away with this. They robbed the Louvre 3 times, never got caught. Never got caught. In fact, they handed one of the paintings back. So this person here, probably a criminal, but don't have a complete criminal mind to have the smarts enough to wear a proper mask. He was supposed to have shades on. But you might say, well, Max, it was dark that night. Yeah. But yeah, he needed a better mask, because you could clearly see the eyebrows. He didn't even have the decency enough to wear shoes that will make him 3 to 4 inches taller. He didn't even do that. So at least you could throw him off by the height. This is a mess.
Dominic Aaron Evans is 48 years old. He lives in the Tucson area. He works as an elementary school teacher. And since 2007, he has been the drummer in a band called Early Black. The bassist in that band is a man named Tommaso Cioni. Tommaso Cioni is the husband of Annie Guthrie. Annie is Nancy Guthrie's eldest daughter. That makes Tommaso Cioni Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law. And that makes Dominic Evans the 19-year musical partner of the last known person to see Nancy Guthrie alive. Let me be precise about something right now, and I'm going to come back to this throughout this video. Law enforcement has not officially named Dominic Evans as a suspect or a person of interest. I want to be clear about that. Everything I am about to show you comes from public records, documented facts, FBI-released evidence, and named expert sources. You are going to look at what I show you and make your own judgment. Now, back to the 4 data points, 5'9" to 5'10". Dominic Evans is approximately 5'9", average build. Multiple publicly available photographs and performance videos show Evans at an average build, black moustache and goatee. In those same photographs and performance videos, Evans has been documented with a black moustache and goatee, distinctive marking on the right wrist. In performance footage from Early Black that is available online, a marking is visible on Evans's right wrist. Former FBI profiler Jim Clemente described the marking he saw in the doorbell footage as consistent with what independent researchers identified on Evans's wrist in that band footage.
Did you hear what he said? Independent researchers. So he gave the people the credit. There was, I like how he said independent researchers. I don't like internet sleuths. I don't like that name. It's almost like minimizing what we do. I don't like sleuths. I just don't like it. Independent researchers or journalists is a little bit more appropriate here. You have to say that, because person online came up with this. He said that person has a tattoo. And everybody like, what? He said, look at it again. I said, oh my God, there it is. He has a tattoo. He has a tattoo. I believe if I'm a betting man, the motivation here was money. Unbelievable.
Not one match, not 2 matches. Every single data point in the FBI's official physical description of the suspect maps onto Dominic Aaron Evans every single one. Now here is where it gets deeply uncomfortable.
He said this is where it gets deeply uncomfortable. Let me just say this. Some people say, well, if that is the case, why haven't they made an arrest yet? We already know how the government gets down. When they swoop down on you, they got you. They will sit there and know that you did it and watch you for months. They will literally stalk you. They will watch you for months. Go through your trash. You don't think they went through this person's trash? They get DNA? Oh, yes. They probably don't went through the trash. Because I know how they do. Because I followed the Brian Kohlberger case. If you remember in the Brian Kohlberger case, they went through his trash. He didn't even know it. They were watching him when he was throwing the trash out and putting it in a neighbor's trash. They went and retrieved that trash while he was in the house asleep. They will literally watch you. So if this is all true, if they know this, they want to have an airtight case before they go in and make multiple arrests. Not just him, if he did it, multiple. I'm talking about everybody getting arrested. Everybody. Everybody. I don't care who you are. Everybody. If you knew about it, that's a crime if you didn't report it. But how do we know? We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. It may have been reported. They say the eyes is the gateway to a person's soul. Just look at a person's eyes. It's something off with the other guy. I ain't gonna say his name. I seen his pictures. I'm like, something is off here. I've heard y'all music. Oh yeah, I did some research. I heard y'all music and I don't like it. And it's just like David. I didn't like David's music and I don't like theirs either. It's just something dark about it.
Public records are public for a reason. The Pima County Judicial Database is accessible to anyone. And inside that database, under the name Dominic Evans, there are documented felony entries: burglary, robbery, theft, embezzlement, DUI. I want to stop on the first two words and make sure you understand exactly what they mean under Arizona law. Burglary is unlawful entry into a structure with the intent to commit a crime inside. Robbery is the taking of property from a person through force or the direct threat of force. Read those definitions again slowly. Unlawful entry into a structure. Confrontation of a person. Taking property from them by force.
All right, so we had to go with a definition. That definition is robbery for Arizona is taking something by force. It's not just taking something. That's a different crime. If you just take something that's not by force, that's something else. They charge him with that plus force. Okay? I don't know how you're an elementary school teacher. I don't know how. Arizona, how is that the case? Okay? How is that the case? How is that the case? This world is something else, man. This world is something else. Okay? This world is something else. So remember, he has entries under his name, taking something from someone by force. That's what they got on his jacket, by force. Not just taking something like Max. Maybe he just took something and they call it robbery. Not by their definition. For them to put the robbery jacket on you in Arizona, it has to be by force. If it wasn't, they wouldn't have put it on his jacket. They would have put something else on his jacket. This is by force. So this is the rabbit hole is getting deep here. with this situation. And you know what I'm saying here. If this is all true, everybody is getting arrested. Everybody. 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 Okay? We're not moving on with life. Oh no, we're not going to move on with life because y'all sitting up here playing. And you know another thing I heard? I heard that the sheriff is no longer talking to the family. Why not? Because he knows something. For sure. He probably was waiting for the con. He got it now. He probably know. That's what I heard. No longer communicating with no one. When the feds are not communicating with you, that doesn't mean that they're not watching you. I'm pretty sure if they think this guy did it, I'm pretty sure they're like this. He's at home, they're like this. They're watching. They're watching. This is insane.
Now read the description of what happened inside Nancy Guthrie's home on February 1st at 1:47 in the morning. Someone entered that home unlawfully. Someone confronted an 84-year-old woman. Someone took her by force. The skill set required to do what was done to Nancy Guthrie is documented in Pima County Court records under the name of the man.
Something just hit me. Something just hit me. She was taken from that house. Something just hit me. Now, I'm just going to tell you this. This is just my own thoughts. It's just my own thoughts. Whoever the person that dropped her off, all right, she's in the house, bro. All right, she in the house. That's what I think happened. And you know what else? This could have been staged, but it went wrong. It could have been staged, but it went wrong. How did I think it went wrong? If she got somebody she don't know with a mask coming in her house, she probably just dropped right there. That's probably what happened. Oh my God. What are we going to do now? She's gone. Yep. This some cold stuff here, man. She didn't deserve that. She ain't deserve that. I'm an empath. That's why I got to be careful how I talk about this. She didn't deserve that. She didn't. She did not deserve that. Nobody does. Especially her, though. Because she's 80 something. You know, she belongs to a protected class. I'm in a protected class too because of my age, but no, she's really in a protected class. Anybody that age, we have to protect them. It's our obligation to protect the elderly. Some people, I don't like how they treat the elderly. Let me just say something for anybody. You judge a person how they treat their elderly parents. Always judge a person how they treat their elderly parents, especially if the parents did all they could for that person. And if that person just mistreat them and stuff like that, they're going to do the same to you. For even somebody to have the thought to do something like this, I honestly don't believe, though. Well, it could be. It's two things. Whoever was responsible for this, they really didn't want her to pass away, or they may have. And if they wanted her to pass away, that means they think some money is coming. I'm suspecting if there's some insurance money is being held up right now, pending investigation. It's being held up. I know because I used to work for an insurance company. It's being held up. I'm pretty sure of it. Pending the last investigation. Because this is an ongoing investigation right now, correct? The investigation hasn't been finalized yet. At first, I heard that they told the police that it was a walk-off situation. No, it wasn't. It wasn't no damn walk-off situation. She can't walk that far. What you mean it's a walk-off situation? She wasn't suffering from any mental situation. She wasn't. Man, I tell you, this is crazy.
Man whose physical description matches every single point of the FBI's official profile. But here is the detail that should stop you cold. Evans has documented felony convictions. His name is in those court records right now. Anyone can look it up. And yet, neither of the two DNA profiles recovered from this crime scene matched a single profile in the FBI's CODIS database. CODIS contains 19 million known offender.
Well, we don't know yet. Maybe there's a match. But if there's not a match, that means he didn't enter the house. If his DNA is not in there. Their DNA is in the house, though. Because they probably thought, well, if they find our DNA is supposed to be in the house because we have direct contact with her. All right? We have direct contact with her. So, of course, our DNA is going to be in the house. They're not going to get us, man. They're not going to get us. They're not going to get us. You know? But if his DNA, they did find a hair strand that they say that didn't belong to the family either. So it could be his. We'll have to see. They didn't make an official announcement yet because this is an active investigation. So they're not going to say anything publicly. But I bet you they have the information already. I bet you they do. They're not going to let us know anything until an arrest is made. Even then, they're not going to let us know anything about DNA. We will learn that during trial. That's when we will learn that, the public. We will learn it during the trial. But we're not going to ever know anything about DNA right now. That'll be during the trial if somebody is arrested. They have to stand justice.
The profiles. 19 million people. Neither profile matched anyone. For a person with documented felony convictions, the absence from CODIS has a specific legal explanation. Arizona's DNA collection laws have been amended multiple times over the years. If Evans's convictions were entered before the state implemented mandatory DNA collection for his specific categories of offence, or if any of his cases were resolved through plea agreements that did not trigger automatic DNA submission, he could have multiple felony entries in the county system and remain completely invisible to the federal database. Documented criminal record. 0 DNA on file anywhere the FBI can access. That combination is the forensic equivalent of a ghost. A ghost who looks exactly like the person standing on Nancy Guthrie's porch.
Here's what's interesting, though. Back in the 1980s in New Jersey, I remember the police coming to our grammar school and they got all of our fingerprints. So I'm in the database and I never committed any crime. My fingerprints are in the database. Some people's fingerprints are not in the database, but they did that to us. They came to our grammar school and did it and collected all our fingerprints. My DNA is not in, but for sure my prints are. I mean, all my prints, even my hand, all of it. So, but it's interesting to note that that's the reason why maybe his DNA is not in the database, because everything was either settled or he didn't, or it would happen prior to the date of them amending that law. Now, again, I just want to say this, that These are just thoughts and clues. This is not to say that anybody did such a situation, but trust and believe. I'm telling you, I'm trust and believe. Arrest is getting ready to be made. Trust and believe. When I say getting ready to be made, getting ready on the Fed time could be any time. It could be a year from now or whatever. They do things when they're ready to do things. But arrest is going to be made here. Multiple.
Porch at 1:47 in the morning. 2007. Dominic Evans and Tommaso Cioni did not grow up together. They did not go to school together. They found each other through a classified ad in the Tucson Weekly. Tommaso posted a listing. Evans responded. They found a guitarist named Walter Gonsalves through Craigslist. In late 2009, the three of them walked into Loveland Studios in Tucson and recorded their debut album. They named that album Life, Love, Love, Murder. 4 words, deliberately chosen by 3 grown men to represent their collective artistic statement to the world. I'm not telling you an album title is evidence, but I am telling you it is a window. And what it shows you about the people who chose it is worth sitting with for a moment. From 2007 to 2026, Evans and Cioni have been playing together. 19 years of shared rehearsal spaces, 19 years of booking gigs, splitting expenses, coordinating schedules, reading each other's timing on a stage in front of a crowd. Here is something that musicians understand and that the rest of us tend to underestimate. A drummer and a bassist are the rhythmic foundation of every band. When they are tight, the whole band sounds tight. A drummer who has spent 19 years locked in with a bassist does not need to look over at him. He does not need a signal. He anticipates the shift before it happens. He feels the change in the tempo before the first note even lands differently. That level of synchronization does not live only on the stage. It becomes the foundation for every coordinated action those 2 people take together in any context. Think about what this crime required. 2 people, 2 entry points, simultaneous action, one at the front, one at the rear, pre-assigned roles, pre-agreed timing, no verbal communication during execution. That is not 2 strangers hired off a message board. That is 2 people who have been anticipating each other's moves for 19 years without needing to speak. Let me tell you what the body language experts said when they reviewed the FBI doorbell footage. They used a specific phrase: ownership behavior. The suspect did not approach that porch the way a stranger approaches an unfamiliar location. He did not slow down near the entrance to orient himself. He did not scan the porch to locate the camera. He did not hesitate at the door. He walked directly to the camera without searching for it.
You see how train people to know certain patterns, how they looking at certain things. I would have never thought that. Oh, he didn't show unfamiliar behavior walking up. He was familiar with the place. I would have never thought about that. But the people that's analyzing this footage are the world's best. They got this thing down, guys. I'm telling you, it's about to be an arrest. Multiple people getting ready to get arrested. Because you can't sit up here and play in the world's face. Okay? The president offered all types of assistance and y'all didn't want the assistance. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Nope. And you know the crazy thing is, I don't want to get into that because that's being petty. But a lot of YouTubers and stuff, they sent something now because they're going back out there. There's a bunch of YouTubers getting ready to get together and go back out there because they sense that the body is nearby. They're going to go look now. They're going to really go look because they believe that she's around there. That's what they believe. She's not too far away from there. I guarantee you it's going to be somebody on YouTube to find it. I'm telling you. It's going to be somebody on YouTube that got a hunch. They're like, wait a minute. Let's check in this area. Let's check in this location. And they're going to find it. She it's unbelievable, man. That old lady, I believe she probably did go home that night. I don't know. No, you don't do that. Not to somebody that elder. You don't do that. No, you don't do that. You just don't do it. But people do it, obviously, but yeah. Well, let's continue.
He tapped the lens twice. Casual, rhythmic, the way someone taps a piece of furniture they walk past every single day of their life. When tapping did not disable it, he reached into the potted plant beside the door and covered the lens with foliage. He knew that plant was there. He knew exactly where it was positioned relative to the camera. He did not find the plant. He went straight to it. Investigators call that kind of movement muscle memory, the kind your body makes in a space it has visited so many times that it stops thinking and starts running on automatic. Now, Dominic Evans is not a family member. He did not have 19 years of Friday night dinners at Nancy Guthrie's home. Tommaso Cioni did. But here is what Evans did have. A 19-year partner who knew every inch of that property. A partner who knew where every camera was mounted. A partner who knew which plant was next to the front door. A partner who could draw a floor plan of that house from memory in the dark. The person on that porch moved like someone who had been briefed on every detail of that property by someone who had walked it hundreds of times. A blueprint passed from one partner to another. This detail does not get nearly enough attention. On January 23, 2026, 9 days before Nancy Guthrie was taken, a man was captured on a Ring camera approximately 6.5 miles from her home. He was walking backward. Consumer security cameras like Ring use passive infrared sensors. The sensor goes into a low-power state until it detects body heat moving through its field. When it wakes up, there is a gap. 1 to 2 seconds before the lens adjusts, the processor engages and the connection establishes. Walk toward a camera, and those first 1 to 2 seconds capture your face as you approach. Walk backward, and by the time the camera is actually recording, all it sees is the back of your head. This person was not walking backward because he stumbled. He was physically exploiting the camera's built-in response delay, using nothing but his own body. He had studied how these specific consumer cameras work. He had learned about the sensor lag, and he was using that knowledge deliberately, in the dark, on a residential street. When a dog in a nearby yard started barking, he ran. But here is the part that should stop you cold. He maintained his backward orientation as he fled. He was moving fast, fast enough that staying backward while running risked falling. The instinct when you hear a sudden, unexpected noise is to spin toward it. Every human body has that reflex. His face. That level of spin toward it. Every human body has that reflex. It is not a choice. It is biology. He suppressed it. He would rather risk falling on a sidewalk than give that camera a single frame of his face. That level of discipline in an unplanned moment of stress does not come from watching a YouTube video. It comes from practice, from someone who had run this scenario in their mind enough times that the trained behavior overrode the survival reflex. 9 days later, February 1st, the same Ozark Trail backpack, the same reflective safety strips, the same build, the same height. On to Nancy Guthrie's porch.
I'm starting to get goosebumps. That was to throw off the investigator. This was planned. Oh, Lord, this was planned. They did that to throw off the investigators. Like, hey, there was somebody else at a neighbor's house looking like they were trying to break in. That's to throw investigators off. Like, hey, we didn't do this. Look, the neighbor had issues too. The neighbor had issues. Okay. So, yeah. The neighbor had issues too. That could have been to throw off the investigation. This was planned, but it wasn't planned all the way. And the reason why I'm saying it's planned is because these investigators, these criminal people that's studying the video, is saying this person had some type of familiarity with the place. This person didn't seem uncomfortable. This person, whoever this person is, thought they were smart. Oh yeah, I know how to do this. I just, let's just do this, make it seem like this is a pattern in this neighborhood. Then we're going to do what we got to do.
But this time, no hesitation, no testing, no backward walking. January 23rd was the test run. He walked past. He checked whether the camera captured anything worth worrying about. When law enforcement did not knock on his door the next morning, he confirmed one thing: he was invisible. By February 1st, he was not testing anymore. He was executing. I want to spend a moment on the backpack because most coverage treated it as a minor detail. It is not a minor detail. The FBI identified it as an Ozark Trail 25-litre pack. They specifically noted that this model is sold exclusively through Walmart. Walmart sells hundreds of millions of products, but the FBI called out this specific backpack by name. That means their forensic analysis was specific enough to identify the brand, the model, and the exclusive retailer. Now think about what a person planning this kind of operation chooses to carry their equipment in. This operation required planning tools, possibly restraints, definitely whatever sedative was administered to Nancy inside that home, possibly communication devices. A person who buys a specialized tactical backpack from an outdoor retailer creates a purchase record, a credit card trail, a loyalty program scan, a security camera at a checkout counter. A person who buys a $20 backpack from Walmart in cash, late at night, at a location far from their own neighborhood, creates almost nothing. That choice tells us the person carrying it understood procurement security. They understood that equipment leaves traces, and they chose equipment designed specifically to minimize those traces. That is not impulsive behavior. That is deliberate planning. And the reflective safety strips on that backpack, multiple observers noted them right away. Those strips glow under infrared cameras. They are visible from a distance in low light conditions. A person who walked backward on a residential street specifically to exploit a camera's sensor lag definitely noticed those reflective strips, and they left them on anyway. There is one explanation for that. Those strips were left on intentionally, to make the backpack look like it was grabbed by someone careless, someone disorganized, someone impulsive. Someone who does not match the profile of a man who has spent 19 years executing precise musical timing with another person. The backpack was part of the costume, and the costume had a specific purpose. When the FBI builds a suspect profile, they look at the gear, the planning, and the execution. If the suspect had shown up in professional tactical equipment with a properly fitted holster, night vision gear, and high-quality everything, the profile would have read as educated, methodical, disciplined, trained. Someone with a technical background. That profile narrows fast. But if you deliberately assemble the cheapest possible kit, the wrong holster, the reflective strips you absolutely should have removed but did not, you build a completely different character on paper. The profilers describe a disorganized, impulsive offender, someone with no training and no discipline. And they stop looking at the methodical person 4 miles away who plans things carefully for a living. That is not stupidity, that is misdirection. The costume did exactly what it was designed to do. 2 DNA profiles, 2 men. Profile 1 was recovered from biological material found inside Nancy Guthrie's home. Profile 2 was recovered from a nitrile glove found approximately 2 miles from her house. Both profiles belong to unknown males. Neither matches Nancy Guthrie. Neither matches any member of her family. Neither matches a single one of the 19 million profiles in the FBI's CODIS database. 2 miles from the house. Someone disposed of a glove 2 miles from the scene. Think about the knowledge that choice requires. A person who panics after a crime drops the glove at the scene or in the first trash can they pass.
You know, I was just thinking about something. It's really freaking me out. Like, I was just thinking about the FBI. I'm going to talk about this a little later after he's done. I was thinking about, like, how the FBI, how they able to, like, track criminals. You know, they had a lot of practice throughout the years. And law enforcement, one specific murder, even one specific situation I always think about all the time is the Zodiac killer. I think he's still alive. Why do I think he's still alive? The confirmed Zodiac attacks was December 20th, 1968, and October 11th, 1969. I'm thinking if he was around 25 years old, he's still alive. He's 80 years old. If he's still alive, I think he is. Every time I think about it, I get chills. I think he's still around. I think he's still with us. That's one of the people that got away. Or so they say got away. But, you know, obviously, some people say he possibly could be passed away. I don't know. I don't think they said they had somebody that confessed on their deathbed, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But my point is they've had a lot of practice throughout the years in profiling certain people. And that's how they work the way they do. They're very, they don't let us know stuff until they're ready to let us know stuff. So if they are trailing somebody, we're never going to know. We're never going to know until they make an arrest. But I do feel they're going to make an arrest soon.
A person who panics does not think about where biological evidence from inside a glove might land. Nitrile gloves are not designed to prevent forensic contamination. They are rated for chemical resistance. Micro tears form under physical strain. Sweat builds inside the glove within minutes. If you are wearing nitrile gloves while physically managing an elderly woman and carrying her out of her home, perspiration breaches the material. A biology teacher who teaches forensic science concepts would know exactly that. A biology teacher would know that disposing of the gloves far from the scene is non-negotiable. And a person who knew that and still left a glove that was findable 2 miles away either made a mistake in a high-pressure moment or disposed of it in a location that seemed safe and turned out not to be. Someone found one anyway. And the FBI is running that DNA against genetic genealogy databases right now. Companies like Parabon Nanolabs and the techniques pioneered by investigator C.C. Moore do not require a hit in CODIS. They require a partial match with a distant relative, a second cousin, a third cousin. Someone who submitted their DNA to Ancestry or 23andMe without ever thinking about what that submission could one day reveal. Genetic genealogy brought down the Golden State Killer, a man who evaded law enforcement for decades, a man whose DNA was not in any criminal database anywhere. It found him anyway, because his relatives were in a consumer database. 2 DNA profiles, 2 men, and a genetic genealogy investigation that does not need either of them to cooperate. Dominic Evans spoke to the New York Times in February of 2026. He told them several things. He said he had met Nancy Guthrie exactly once, at a family Easter egg hunt in 2011. He said he found out about her disappearance through Instagram. And he said that when he found out, he reached out to Tommaso Cioni through a private direct message to offer his support. Sit with that sequence for a moment. Nancy Guthrie's disappearance was on every major television network in America. It was the top story on ABC, CBS, NBC, and CNN simultaneously. Her daughter Savannah is the anchor of the Today Show. This was not a local story buried somewhere on page 6. And Dominic Evans, the 19-year bandmate of the last known person to see Nancy Guthrie alive, says he found out through Instagram, not from the television, not from a friend calling him, not from Tommaso himself reaching out. Instagram. Let that land for a second. And then his first move was not to call Tommaso, not to text him, not to reach out through any channel that would be immediately visible to the investigators who he had to know were monitoring every form of communication in and out of that household. He sent a private direct message. A national kidnapping investigation involving a journalist's mother is active. Law enforcement is pulling phone records and monitoring communications. And his instinct is to reach out through the most private, least traceable channel available to him. Investigators who examined the metadata of that communication, the timing of it, the pattern of messages between Evans and Cioni in the weeks leading up to February 1st, the frequency of their contact, and the sudden shift after February 1st, would not be reading that private message as a gesture of support. They would be reading it as something else entirely. Evans told reporters he spoke with investigators for approximately 40 minutes. 40 minutes. That is a preliminary screening interview.
You see that? They were on it the whole time. Why would they talk to him? Why he's just a bandmate? Why would they talk to him? Surely nobody has nothing to do with it. Surely this is random, right? Why would they sit there and interview him? I'm telling you, the FBI, they are the world's best. I'm telling you they are. They are the world's best. That was a screening. That's all it was. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. They're very nice to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. Have a good day, okay? I remember it was a YouTuber. I remember going to his comment section saying, "You in trouble now?" I remember saying it. This is because he used to make footage. I mean, he made a couple YouTube videos and President Bush, well, Senior, was in a pizzeria, and he made a video like harassing him, like, "Oh, you this and that, and you a bad president, this and that." I said, "No, no, no." I said, "Somebody get ready to show up at your doorstep," and they sure did. They showed right up. There was two guys. One was very friendly, and there was another guy in back of the friendly guy. He didn't look so friendly. He looked like he could stare through your soul, the way he was looking. That guy was so nervous. And the guy was like, "Yeah, we would like to talk to you, but we'd like to do this off camera," because the guy was recording him at his door. He said, "We would like to do this off camera, or you could come down to our field office. You can, and feel free to bring an attorney as well. Feel free. But you could come down, or we could talk to you now, but we just can't do it on camera, okay?" And he was like, "No, I need to have my camera on for my safety." And he eventually went down to the field office, and they was like, "Do you want to wish any harm on the president?" And they're like, "No, okay, we're just wondering." And they watched him for a very long time. But my point is, they are on this situation. They're on it. If we're thinking it, they thinking it. Like, so we'll see. Crazy though.
That is what you spend on someone when you are a person of interest. But here is what matters most about that 40-minute interview. Investigators do not need Evans to cooperate for the evidence that actually counts. Cell tower records do not need his cooperation. Purchase histories do not need his cooperation. Vehicle tracking data does not need his cooperation. Genetic genealogy absolutely does not need his cooperation. It needs him to have a relative who submitted their DNA to a consumer database. And statistically, almost everyone does. Here is a detail I have not seen properly addressed anywhere. Evans told the New York Times he met Nancy Guthrie exactly once. Easter egg hunt, 2011. That was 15 years before she was taken. He is the 19-year bandmate of her son-in-law. 19 years of being connected to this family through Tommaso. 19 years of knowing about family dinners. 19 years of a partner who had walked through Nancy's front gate hundreds of times and knew that house better than almost anyone outside the immediate family. And Evans claims his entire personal connection to Nancy Guthrie is one Easter egg hunt 15 years ago. That is a very specific and very minimal claim. People make very specific and very minimal claims about their connection to a person when they have been carefully advised about what to say. Now consider the ransom demand. $6 million in Bitcoin. Not 5 million, not 10 million, not a round number that a stranger picks because they assume wealthy television personalities have access to unlimited funds. 6 million. That is a precise number, a surgical number, a number that says whoever set it knew specifically what Savannah Guthrie actually earns, knew what she could realistically access in liquid assets quickly, knew the difference between her public net worth and the amount she could actually move in a short window. A complete stranger demands 50 million because strangers think in large, round numbers when they imagine television wealth. An insider who has spent 19 years adjacent to that family's conversations lands on 6 million because an insider knows what is actually reachable. Does Dominic Evans know Savannah Guthrie's financial reality after 19 years of being Tommaso Cione's closest bandmate? That question does not have a comfortable answer. In February of 2026, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos held a press conference and publicly stated that the Guthrie family had been cleared. All siblings and spouses. Listen to those exact words very carefully. All siblings and spouses. Savannah Guthrie, cleared. Annie Guthrie, cleared. Cameron Guthrie, cleared. Tommaso Cioni, as a spouse, falls under that umbrella. Sheriff Nanos never named Dominic Evans in that clearance statement. Not once. Not in any subsequent press conference. Not on the record anywhere at all. And then look at what the investigation actually did after that public statement. Federal agents returned to Annie and Tommaso's home more than 5 separate times after being publicly declared clear. 5 times. They left with items in brown paper bags. Brown paper bags are used by law enforcement specifically to preserve biological evidence. They are not used during routine follow-up visits. They are not used when you are just doing paperwork. Annie Guthrie's vehicle was towed and impounded. Their septic tank was physically examined. Security cameras were removed from the property. You do not examine a septic tank belonging to people you have genuinely moved past. You do not tow the car of a grieving family member who is fully in the clear.
Because they didn't move past that family. They did not. I knew that. I said, wait a minute. They keep going back. They went back to the daughter and son-in-law house. They looked at their car, looked at her car. They haven't ruled them out yet. They haven't. But I just needed somebody else to say it. They haven't ruled them out. No. But they won't say anything. They won't say anything publicly either. Until they're sure they got what they want. And then they'll come down at 3 o'clock in the morning. Arrest warrant. Open the door. Open the door. That's what's going to happen. They always do it at night for some reason, early in the morning. This time, I'm suspecting the ABC boys are coming. That's what I'm suspecting. The next time. The marshals are coming. This could be a federal situation, I think. This is involving ransom and stuff like that. I'm not for certain. I'm not sure if this is within their jurisdiction. I think it is. Or they're working with the local police. But something is coming. Most certainly. But they ain't ruled nobody out. Looking at septic tanks. They keep going in the house, taking stuff out and going to the other house and looking at her car. They didn't rule them out yet. Not whatsoever.
You do not send teams to remove security cameras from the property of someone you are no longer interested in. The public statement and the investigative behavior told 2 completely different stories. And Dominic Evans, the one person most directly connected to the primary focus of that investigation, was never mentioned in that clearance at all. Not once. When you strip away everything else and look only at what the physical evidence tells us, a very specific architecture emerges from this crime. This operation required 2 things that almost never exist in the same person. First, intimate insider knowledge, the home layout, the camera system, and specifically that it was not recording. The gate, Nancy's daily routine, her medication, and the conditions it treated. Her daughter Savannah's international travel schedule for the Winter Olympics. The family's real financial picture underneath the public perception of television wealth.
This happened when Savannah was out of the country, guys. She was out of the country when this shit happened. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they ain't had nothing to do with this because this is going to kill that girl. This is going to kill that girl. This girl, she can't take that. She ain't gonna be able to take this. She is not gonna be able to take this shit. She's not gonna. This will drive her crazy. Okay. This will literally drive her crazy. She's going crazy now. I can see it. I can see it. People say, how did she move on like that? Because I could relate to her. Let me tell you why. When my dad passed away, I had a delayed reaction. I didn't mourn at all. People say, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. You know, life. This is life. You know, I was happy-go-lucky. Like, this is life. This is life. You know, stuff happens. And then, I never forget. So this happened when I was in 8th grade. Well, after I graduated 8th grade, getting ready to go to my freshman year in high school, that summer he passed away, right before my birthday. It was a month before my birthday. And I had a delayed reaction. I didn't mourn. I didn't cry. I was like, yeah, you know, it's life. You know, people say, are you sure you're all right? I'm like, yeah, of course, man. Yeah, man. What we doing for the weekend? They was like, my friends was like, they was like, you sure? You all right? I was like, yeah, man, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? Chill. We gonna go to the party, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then come that September, you know, I had started school. And the teacher, it was a counselor. She came to me. She said, can I see you for a minute? I said, yeah. She said, yeah, I heard what happened with you in the summer. You know, this is like, I never met her. Like, I had grew close to her throughout my years in high school, but I didn't know her. This is my first time meeting her. She was like, yeah, I heard from your grammar school what happened over the summer. She said, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, sure. She was like, okay. She said, I'm just asking. Some of the parents had told her, like, because we had like one of the parents had worked at the high school. They had said he showed no emotion whatsoever, none. And then she was like, she has a background in psychology and stuff. She said he's having it's delayed. She said we're gonna wait and see how he reacts. And then that reaction, I didn't have no reaction. Freshman year, no reaction. But I was thinking about it though, no reaction. Sophomore year, no reaction. My junior year, I literally, no, it was like, I was starting to crumble then because it was starting to get to me because I was starting to, it took me a while to process it. Because what you have is some people, what I had come to learn is we have these avoidant things to protect our psyche. We will do things to protect our psyche. Like we'll act like that's not reality. We'll create our own reality and have a buffer zone between, because it's like the shock was just so great. We do stuff to whatever. And I think it was my senior year. I had a complete breakdown. It hit me right. It took me a long time. It broke me. It got me. In my mind, I thought he was coming home. In my mind, I was thinking, I was like, nah, man, that really didn't happen. People are tripping. And then finally it hit me. And I had such a breakdown that the doctor, they thought I was getting ready to die. They said, we don't know what's wrong with him, but he is failing us. We don't know what's wrong. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. They said, something's wrong. We don't know. Like, his system is shutting down. Like, he's shutting down. Like, and then the doctor said, do y'all know what's going on? Then finally, somebody that came in and said, well, she said, well, he's probably cracking now. And that's what happened. Grief will take you out of here before anything else. Grief will kill you. I was grieving that many years, but I had kept it in. And it finally broke me down. But for her, I know people are saying that the reason why I say that is because she might be having a delayed reaction. She's not processing it. She probably thought it, but she's not accepting it. She may not be accepting it. And I know people say, well, she started a new game show and stuff like that. She did process it because her mother's gone. She did go through that hurt. But this is going to be a different type of situation if somebody in her family has something to do with this. This ain't going to work, yo. I could tell how she's already reacting. This is not going to work with her. I don't think she's going to be able to accept this. And I didn't accept it, and it almost killed me. You know what I'm saying? But they hooked me up to tubes and all this stuff, and they got me back. And I remember the doctor telling me, like, son, don't you want to be here? I said, no, I don't want to be here no more. I'm checking out. He said, why? I said, I just can't do it anymore. Because the reality had hit me. Because what happened was, I'll never forget it. I was, he passed away this summer after I graduated 8th grade, right? Yeah. But after I graduated 8th grade, he didn't pass away after I graduated. He passed away around August, after my birthday. But I graduated in June. In July, like a week before he passed, before he left the house, he said, hey, we're going to get that bike for you that I promised. I said, oh, yeah? He said, yeah, I'm about to get it. I was playing the game. He said, and I turned back because he was getting ready to leave. So I'm about to go out. He said, we're going to go get that bike like I promised. I said, okay, cool. I appreciate it. And then I turned back around and I noticed the door didn't close. So then I looked back. He was watching me. And then he left. That's the last time I saw him alive. And that type of hurt, it was delayed because I was trying to avoid it. So then I came up. It's like my mind. You know, the mind is very powerful. It'll try to protect you as much as it can. You know, it's like self-preservation. It'll try to protect you. So you'll come up with something to try to not deal with reality. I don't know how to explain it. But the reason why I say that, because I have experience. The way she reacted, and I could tell by the look on her face, if her family has something to do with this, this will completely destroy her. Completely. She's trying to pick up the pieces. That's why people say, I can't believe she's starting a game show. Let her start the damn game show. Please. Or whatever she's trying to do. Because this is the only thing that's keeping her sane. It's her work. That's the only thing keeping her sane. So if she wants to start a new game show, let her start the damn game show. Please. Because that's what's keeping this woman sane. Because she ain't had nothing to do with it. But everybody around her might get arrested. Except her brother. Except him. Them two, then, I don't think they had nothing to do with it. That's what the spirit is telling me. Her and her brother had nothing to do with this. This was some old other funky type shit went on. Okay? So, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong because it's just an assumption. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this was the work of a complete stranger. I hope this was the work of a complete organization that targeted her mother. But the fact of the matter is, this guy said that they requested for $6 million. That is strange because you'd think, damn, we could get more because look at Savannah. She got all the money in the world. Like, we could get more. But this person knows this is what we can get. Because we really don't know a person's financial standing. We only can see, oh, they making this amount. Yeah, but after taxes, that's not how much they're worth. Like, let's say if they say, oh, she signed for $40 million. Oh, ooh, ooh. No, she didn't. Uncle Sam got their hand out. She ain't got 40 million. Not with Uncle Sam like this, with their hand out. As far as I'm concerned, Trump, he don't want us to pay income tax no more. But as far as I'm concerned, it hasn't been approved yet. So Uncle Sam Uncle Sam still have their hand out. So it's not really $40 million. And there's expenses and different things like that, whatever she got going in her life. She don't have $40 million. But whoever close to her know what she got, though. So that makes sense. But I hope, like I said again, I hope I'm wrong about this and hope this person is wrong. But you have some people that they study this for a living. I don't. I don't study crime for a living. Some people do. Some people know body language. They study body language. You know what I found out? I know someone that's a detective. He doesn't study body language or anything, but he works closely with someone that does. You know what he said? He said, when a person is lying, they're too detailed in their story. I was like, really? He said, yeah. I was like, they too detailed? He said, yeah. They tell you all these little details. That's how you know they're lying. Yeah, when I went to the store, there was a little guy in the corner. I noticed this guy in the corner. He had a blue shirt on. I think it was polo. And I think he had polo socks on to match the polo. That's how you know they're lying. They being too detailed. That's what he meant. I was like, wow, really? I didn't know that. He said, yeah, they're too detailed. And he said, there's something with body language too when somebody's lying. But he said some people, when they look up, it doesn't always mean anything because some people have different habits, but you have to study their habits for a couple of interviews. But like I said, I just hope that, but why did they question this guy though? If you notice, they question this guy. So the FBI and the authorities, they're on this. They were on this something the whole time. But like I said, I hope that I'm wrong about this situation because I knew how I handled my situation. I didn't handle my situation correctly. And I was a kid. You might say, oh, well, you were a kid. But it took me a while. It's just something, because it's just something that level of hurt, I just wasn't ready to deal with. I couldn't process it. And the way she was handling herself, the way how she looks crushed, which anybody would be crushed. And just the look on her face, she don't look the same. Like her going to work is just something for her to do to keep her from going crazy. She find out somebody in her family did this, that's it for her. Her husband will really have to watch her. So hopefully that's not it. Hopefully that's not it. Hopefully that's not it.
That knowledge cannot be acquired by watching a house from a parked car. A stranger casing that property from the street can learn when the lights go on and off. A stranger cannot learn that the Nest cameras are essentially decorative. A stranger cannot learn the specific dollar amount that represents the outer limit of what Savannah Guthrie could actually move quickly. That knowledge lives inside the family. And it lives inside people who have spent years sitting adjacent to it at dinner tables and in living rooms. Second, the physical willingness and the documented capability to enter a home at 1:47 in the morning, confront a conscious and terrified woman, control her, administer a sedative, and carry her out. An 84-year-old woman, yes, but Sheriff Nanos called her a woman of great sound mind. She did not cooperate willingly. She had to be physically managed. She had to be carried. She could not walk 50 yards on her own, which means the person who took her had to support her entire body weight through that house and out the front door. That is not something an insider with 20 years of dinner table knowledge necessarily has the documented willingness to do. But a man with documented burglary and robbery convictions does. One person provides the blueprint: intimate, architectural, financial, logistical. Everything required to plan this operation from the inside out. That person never needs to be at the scene. His entire value is the knowledge he carries. He goes home, he builds an alibi that consists entirely of not being anywhere suspicious. The operative walks through a gate that was left open for him. He approaches a camera he has been told is not recording. He moves through rooms he has been given the layout of in advance. He brings a sedative because he was told exactly what medical conditions he would be dealing with. And a 19-year musical partnership provides exactly the model of silent coordination that kind of operation requires. As of this recording, Nancy Guthrie has been missing for more than 100 days. She is 84 years old. She has a pacemaker implanted in her chest. She requires daily medication for conditions that become life-threatening without it. Her pacemaker recorded a cardiac spike at 1:47 in the morning on February 1st. The clinical signature of a conscious person who is suddenly overwhelmed with terror. Nancy was not asleep when that masked figure appeared on her porch. A person taken from deep sleep does not produce that kind of cardiac spike at the precise moment a threat appears outside the front door. Her heart confirmed she was awake. She was conscious, and she was terrified. In the minutes that followed, her heart rate stayed elevated. The rhythm showed irregularities that forensic cardiologists associate with sustained extreme emotional distress. Whatever entered that house at 1:47 did not leave quickly. It stayed, and Nancy's body recorded every second of it. Approximately 15 to 20 minutes into the 41-minute window, the accelerometer data changed in a way that stopped investigators in their tracks. The movement pattern shifted from voluntary to passive. Not Nancy walking, not Nancy moving from room to room, Nancy being transported, being carried by someone else. And the character of that movement was consistent with one specific thing: being placed inside a vehicle and driven away. And then, in the final 10 to 15 minutes before contact was lost at 2:28 in the morning, the most disturbing finding in the entire pacemaker analysis. The natural beat-to-beat variation in a conscious person's heart rate began to decrease in a specific pattern that has one clinical meaning and one meaning only: pharmacological sedation. Someone administered a drug to Nancy Guthrie in the final minutes before that pacemaker lost contact with the outside world. An 84-year-old woman with a chronic heart condition. A pacemaker keeping her heart in rhythm. And someone bought a sedative specifically for her. You do not accidentally have medical-grade sedatives on your person. You do not stumble across them. You plan for them. You research them. You acquire them specifically for this purpose. You bring them with intent. At 2:28, the connection stopped. Not because Nancy's heart stopped, because the vehicle she was in had driven far enough from her home that the bedside monitoring unit could no longer reach the pacemaker's signal. At 2:28 in the morning of February 1st, 2026, Nancy Guthrie was alive. Her heart was beating. The device inside her chest confirmed it. And the internal memory of that pacemaker has been recording every single heartbeat since that moment. Every second of everything she has experienced in these 100+ days is stored inside a device the size of a small matchbox, implanted in her chest. All of it is there, waiting. Here is the truth about where this investigation stands right now. The FBI does not hold press conferences to announce progress on an active investigation.
Let me stop right there real quick. I had said this before. The FBI don't say anything. They're like ghosts. They only come in when they're ready to come in. We followed many trials on this channel. We know they did the same thing with Diddy. They swooped down on him when they were ready to, and he was waiting to be arrested all that time. They weren't ready yet. Then finally they grabbed him at the hotel. They'll grab you when they're ready. Did you notice what he just said? All the recordings from her heartbeat for over that 100 days has been recorded. She could still be somewhere. We don't know. But we do know that at the time where her heart really started racing, it was around that time when he was at that excuse me, I don't want to cuss. When he was at that when he was at that camera, she was still there. So now we know that she was in the house. She wasn't asleep. And older people usually up at wee hours of the night. They rarely get sleep. And her heart started racing as somebody's strange person in her house with a mask on. Yes, her heart gonna be racing. And then her heart calmed down. They could tell that she was being transported because they could tell the distance she was from her transponder in her bedroom for her pacemaker. So they could tell she was moving further and further away from it. So the feds, they probably have a timeline. They probably have the real timeline on when she was taken away. And if he did buy some sedatives or whatever, they're researching it. When they ready to make an arrest, there's multiple people going to get arrested here. And they're going to have an airtight case. Ask David. Ask him. Ask David. Even though David's a state case. But it's eerie, isn't it? When he said that transponder, that with the heart, you saw how her heart rate went up. Because when what this person is saying, when that person was at the camera, she may have seen it. She may have saw somebody at her house, and she started freaking out. But one thing the spirit is telling me was she wasn't going. He wasn't taking her without no fight. Now I know what you're gonna say. How's 80-year-old? She wasn't going. She wasn't going. She wasn't going. So I don't know what happened, but they're not telling us anything. They're not telling us that they found blood inside of the house. We don't know. Only thing we do know that there is blood outside of the house. That's the only thing we do know. But we don't know if it's we don't know what they found inside of that house. And also now I'm beginning to realize maybe that's the reason why Savannah didn't pay the money, because maybe she wanted some proof of life or something, but maybe she had knowledge of that pacemaker information. Because I'm not going to pay either if I don't have, because you can't prove that my mother's still alive. Yeah, man, this is a crazy situation.
They hold press conferences when they need something from the public. When they released the doorbell footage on February 10th, they needed tips. They needed someone who recognized that build, that moustache, that backpack. What they said...
They got it. Yes, that is correct. I do know that they release stuff when they need the public to step in. When they need people like the internet sleuths, as they call us, they need that. They have it, that, do you realize the FBI, you know how I'm talking about this situation right now? They're listening, but they like when we have discourse over it. The reason why is because maybe they didn't think of something, or something, right? So they listen to everything. But I know that they listened to that person that said with the tattoos. I know they listened to it. And now they know that the person had tattoos, or they may have seen it already. These people are still human beings, but maybe they missed that the person had tattoos. But they put that out for a reason. The FBI doesn't put just anything out. They don't even have press conferences. They're not really that transparent. The only time they'll have a press conference, right, is when arrest is made. Just to say, guys, arrest was made. We had a thorough investigation, and they'll see a judge soon. That's it. And after that initial press conference, no more press conferences. To the trial. That's it. Just wait for the trial.
Publicly was the minimum required to generate those tips. What they have not said publicly is everything else. Cell tower data from the Tucson area on the night of January 31st and the morning of February 1st has been subpoenaed. That data shows every phone that connected to towers near Nancy Guthrie's home during the abduction window, including phones belonging to...
Oh my God, they got cell phone situations. God, they know a lot. They know a lot. They know a lot. They know a lot. Whoever was responsible for this, they better not have a cell phone on them. And you know another thing? Because we learned this from the Kohlberger case, right? Even if you turn your cell phone off, they're going to know where you turned it off at. They're going to know if you were near your house. And they're gonna know when you turned it back on. That's how they got Brian Kohlberger. Brian Kohlberger, after the murders, he went back to the scene to see if the cops was there, and the cops were not there yet. And he was surprised, like, oh my God, the cops are not here. What the hell? He thought the cops would have been called by now, but one of the roommates, she was hiding under her bed. She was still hiding that whole time. And then eventually, as time went on, then the cops were called and they got there. But he went back to the scene because he just wanted to know what was going on. And there were no cops at the scene. But they were able to trace his cell phone near there. Ain't that crazy? Yeah.
To people who claim to have been somewhere else that night. Purchase records for Ozark Trail backpacks at Tucson area Walmart locations have been pulled. Cash purchases at Walmart are captured on store security cameras. Those cameras have footage retention policies. If that backpack was purchased recently enough, that footage still exists somewhere. And the genetic genealogy investigation is active. C.C. Moore and the team at Parabon Nanolabs have cracked cases where the suspect had no CODIS profile, using nothing more than a partial match with a distant relative. The Golden State Killer had no profile in any criminal database. Genetic genealogy found him anyway, because his relatives were in a consumer database. 2 DNA profiles from 2 unknown males sit in an FBI lab right now. Those profiles are being run against every genealogy database available to investigators. The moment a relative surfaces, the family tree gets built.
Listen. It brought music to my ears to hear that. DNA is in with the FBI right now. They have it. And I know they know who it is. I know it. I could feel it. They just ain't telling us yet. But when they go in and make them arrests, eventually, I honestly believe at some point we're going to get that news. I'm going to be the last one to get it because I'm always the last to report on anything. But y'all let me know. Them arrests are coming. They're coming. They're coming. Especially if it's in Quantico. Oh, my God. Them scientists in Quantico, they're no joke. I'm just telling you this. They ain't no kind of joke. They're the world's best. And if they got a hit, if they have a hit, they're not going to let us know about it. But I'm pretty sure they know who did it now. For sure.
The tree leads to a name. The name leads to a warrant. And warrants do not require cooperation. The FBI has not named Dominic Evans as a suspect. But the FBI also never publicly named Joseph DeAngelo as a suspect in the Golden State Killer investigation, until the day they arrested him in his driveway. The FBI matched the doorbell footage. Not perfectly, not conclusively, not yet. But they built a physical profile from 44 seconds of recovered footage that points to a specific person in a specific city with a specific criminal history and a specific 19-year relationship to the family at the center of this case. Every data point in that profile matches Dominic Aaron Evans. Every single one. I am not telling you he did this. Law enforcement has not told you he did this. What I am telling you is that the evidence in this case follows a path. And that path does not lead away from Dominic Evans. It leads toward him. Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old. There is a device in her chest that has been counting her heartbeats since 2:28 in the morning on February 1st. That device is still counting right now as you watch this video. Time matters. If you have any information related to this case, the FBI tip line is 1-800-CALL-FBI. The website is tips.fbi.gov. The reward is $50,000 from the FBI. Savannah Guthrie has added $1 million of her own money on top of that. Someone knows where Nancy is.
She might still be alive. If that thing is still recording her heartbeat, she might still be alive, man. That's what just kind of gave me the chills. She might still be alive. And if that's the case, they got to find her. They're going to find her. And when I tell you guys, whoever did this, when they swoop down on that person, it's almost like they're robotic. I've seen them swoop down on people. I seen them swoop down on a neighbor one time years ago. It was this guy, it was a neighbor of mine. He never really worked anywhere. He had all of these like fancy cars. He had a nice fancy F-150. It was tricked out. You know, had the risers on it. He had lifted it and everything. He had a Porsche, and then he had a muscle car. I think it was one of them old, 1980 Camaros that was redone. And apparently he was like big time in drugs. Man, I was coming home from work. Everything was roped off. I thought somebody got shot. All I saw was U.S. Marshals. It's all I saw, and other ABC boys, and local police there as well. And I remember saying to one guy, "Hey, what's going on? Just stand back. Can I go on my?" I said, "Stand back." That's it. I'm like, all right, stand back. They don't play. They don't play no games when they come to get you. They don't play no games. So whoever did, they know who did it now, guys. I'm pretty sure. They know who did it. They just getting all they're making sure their T's are dotted. I mean, their T's are crossed, I's are dotted. That's it. This case is about over. It's about over. I'm telling you that I can feel it. She's going to get her justice, but I don't know. Is she still alive? We don't know. Because if it's still recording, she might still be alive. They might have got her hiding somewhere. But we'll see. You said that's what you were thinking. It could be playing and just asking, right? Yeah, the cell phone is your snitch. What's up, midwife? What's up, Ryan? What's up, guys? So that's the presentation. I wanted to get it out. I had to get it out now. But yeah, it don't look good for whoever. I just hope maybe she might still be alive, man. She might still be alive. Yeah, I mean, Jay, thank you, Truth. There's been so many years since this happened. But I was just telling my story because, the human mind is very fragile. And you tend to, if you want to avoid a situation, you can avoid it in your mind. You can avoid a situation in your mind. I did not, I did when I that death, I could not deal with it. So my mind, it was such a shock to my system that I couldn't deal with it. That in my mind, I went into like a fantasy world because the shock was too great. I couldn't deal with it because I couldn't understand. I just talked to him. I couldn't grasp it. But that wasn't the first time I have. And then at the time, I forgot to tell you at the time, prior to that, a month prior to that, I lost my grandmother. And then after my grandmother died, 3 weeks later, one of my aunts died. This was three people. They say things happen in three. I don't really truly believe in that too much, but that's what happened at that point. It was like a trifecta. But it's like my mind couldn't take that last part. I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. So then what happens is you just start to try to do things to try to protect your mind. That's what happens. Whoever has been through that. But everybody mourns differently. That's what, they told me. But Savannah, she's crushed. She's crushed. But I don't know if they're updating her though. I don't know if they're updating her, but some people trying to like criticize her for going back to work. She gonna have to do something because she can't sit in the house. You know what I'm saying? She have to do something. So for her to go back to work and this and that, let her do it. Because that's the only thing probably going to keep her sane, halfway sane. But if her family has something to do with this, oh my God. It's either two things going to happen. Either it's going to crush her or she going to get strong and she going to want her revenge. And she going to want to see this through. But I don't know if the pacemaker is still recording her heartbeat. She's still alive in my book. She could still be alive. So whoever's listening to this, if the old girl, if you listen to this, man, stay strong, man, because they coming to get you. The ABC boys about to come get you. So don't even worry about it. If you're still alive, they coming to get you. But there's a lot of missing person cases out here I've been looking at. Because since I've been looking at this, I said, well, let me see what else is going on. There's so many missing person cases, I don't even know where to start. Do I start with a state? You need to start with a certain city. Why don't you start? I said, why don't I start with a certain city? Because if I start like, okay, maybe I could start reporting a case a day, right? It's too many. You got to break it down to a certain city. There's so many people going missing. But the thing is, the reason why I say that the FBI has a lot of experience in missing person cases because they deal with them all the time. So this is their level of expertise here with missing person cases. But yeah, so it's crazy. Oh yeah, let me give you the link. That's the link. He's not done. Just to let you know, he's not done. He's staying on this case. He's not done. But he does really good work though. Really good work. Yeah, with their investigations, but he's getting his information from somewhere. That's what make me think maybe this is their way of telling us. This is their way of telling the public, but yeah, it's in plain sight. He has a tattoo. I know he's probably thinking like, "Oh my God, they got the tattoo, bro." Yep, they got it. They got your tattoo. They got the tattoo, man. I'll never forget. I was talking to a friend of mine, dad, and I thought he was joking, but he had said, because they were talking about the military and people getting all these tattoos and stuff. I said, "Well, do you have any tattoos?" He said, "No." And I was like, "Why?" He said, "Because I used to be a criminal." He just said it just like that to me, just casually. And I'm like, "Oh man, you bugging, you tripping." He said, "Yeah." He said, "I don't want them to identify me." And then I looked at my boy because that was his father. He said, "He's not lying." Because he wasn't smiling when he said it. And he said, you know about nail polish remover, right?" No, not nail polish remover. Clear nail polish. I said, "No." He said, "You don't know about clear nail polish? You put clear nail polish on your hands so you don't have to wear gloves." So I looked at my friend. He said, "He's dead serious, dude." And I'm looking at him, and he said, "You always wear a hat, and if you don't want to wear a mask, you spray this substance on your hat so that the cameras won't pick up your face." So I'm like, "What the fuck? Who the fuck am I talking to here?" Because you never know people. I don't know if he's like. I'm like, "Damn, is he like a serial killer? Like, well, how does he know all this stuff?" He said he used to be him and his brother when they were younger. They used to just be thieves. They wait for people to leave and they break in their house. He said he wasn't proud of it, but he said it became an addiction. And then he told me, he said, "You ever go to these rich areas?" He said they leave their doors open. I'm like, looking at him like, who the hell am I talking to here? Just the way he said. He said, "Trust me." He said, "I'm an old man. I don't do that stuff no more." But he said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, you just get some clear nail polish." He said he was just demonstrating. He put on your fingertips. And he said it mimics that he said, because when you burn your hand, it burns your prints. It mimics that. I said, "Wow, I didn't know that." Yeah, it's just people, man. It's just some people got that criminal mind. I don't have it. But yeah, man, so that's what's going on with this case, guys. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Mm. Hopefully she's still out there though. Hopefully. If she is, she gonna have a hell of a story to tell. She gonna be like, "You ain't gonna believe this shit." Because if I was her, you know what I'd be like if I was her? "Max, you've been gone for so long. First of all, Harvey, because you know Harvey be wanting to talk to me. Harvey, I need a drink. First of all, let me just get my mind right, and I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. My ass been gone for 100 and some days because they want to sit up here and be simple. Okay, that's all I'll say in front of the camera. They want to sit up here and be simple and try to get a sister money. They try to get a brother money. And then had me up in a damn safe house all this damn time. Sitting up there watching reruns of Different Strokes or something. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you, Harvey. And I want to talk, we call him Sheriff Harvey from TMZ. It's crazy. Crazy. This is a crazy world, boy. It can't be. It's crazy on this spaceship. I call it a spaceship because the Earth is traveling. It's crazy. So much is going on. It's funny. I was watching this guy. He does gig stuff, deliveries and stuff. You know what he said? You know what he said? This is how I know I'm not alone in this world. Gas is so off the hook right now. He said, okay, I put 40 in the tank, right? Yesterday, but he said, I got about, because some cars tell you how much miles you have left on the tank, right? He said, I got 60 miles left on my tank. I can make another $60 off this tank. He said, if I play my cards right, I can make another $60 before I gotta fill it up. I don't like to let my car run out to the point where it start blinking. Because once it get past, I don't know, I shouldn't know this, but once it get past 18 miles, it starts blinking. Every blink, the number goes down. You don't want to be in that position. Every blink, that now you operating on fumes now. And you don't want to do that, mess your car up, but I've done that before. Okay? Yeah, I said reruns of Different Strokes. Because, how we call him Sheriff Harvey. Because Harvey is always in the mix from TMZ. I said, Harvey, listen, I don't want to talk to you right now. I've been gone. Okay? I've been gone, and I've been watching all ass on TV while I've been missing. And my old funky ass, what's his name, had something to do with it. So I don't want to talk to nobody right now. So yeah, I would be beside myself. I go at this point, I'm like, Savannah, I'm coming to live with your ass. I'm not coming back this place. I'm not coming back here. All right. But the dude said, no, he said, I got 68 miles. It says I got 68 miles before I'm empty. He said, no, I forget. He said, I can make another. No, I think he said he can make another $45 or something. It's real out here, man. It's real out here, dog. And then the car, I don't know if y'all know this. My car not driving the same. Is your car driving the same? They don't mix the gas up or something. It's like 85-15, I read. There's a difference in way the car drive now. I can feel it. I don't know what they did. They they cutting the gas with something. I think the mixture is 85-15. I noticed a difference. It's crazy. But I don't need to be complaining too much because California, my God, I think it's like $8-9 a gallon over there. I think what I would have done was, at that point, I would have got me a damn electric bike and put one of them carts on the back to where I could deliver stuff. Like, other than that, I couldn't use no car out there. It's crazy. How the hell can they justify $8 a gallon? How you justify that? The crazy thing is, This society is just, we got to be living in a simulation because nothing makes sense. Like back in the 1960s and 1970s, I've known people that purchased a home for like $37,000. That same home today is worth 900,000 or a million. I know they say, well, you just got to work hard, this and that. No, the money stretched a lot more back in the day than it does now because of inflation. It's inflation. You know, people could buy a car for this amount, house 37,000. Shit. It's the good old days, huh? You said, hi, Max, truth is Bible. Believe it or not. What's going on, Priscilla? You talking about like the revelation, stuff like that? We going through some trying situations right now. That's all I can say. But I like to, you said everything coming together. I knew it. I knew you going. Ooh, that's a hard word. Ooh, you just had to hit this. Ooh, it's too late to hit me with that word, Priscilla. You said tribulations. Ooh, we going through it right now. Trials and tribulations. You know? Walmart. You ever heard of the Walmart what they call it? It's a Walmart indicator that the way things are in the economy, people are buying what they need, not what they want. That's a true indicator that something ain't right. People only going with what they need right now. I mean, on average, not everybody, but on average. We're in a situation right now. Sorry, ladies, to say this, but for guys, they have to make a decision. Do I take her out on a date and pay $250? Or do I keep that $250 in my pocket because of the damn gas? Yo, I'm sorry. It's not funny, but I find stuff funny. It's just the way my mind is set up. I'm sorry. Because, it's the way my mind is set up. Yeah, it's the way my mind is set up. Like, do you go on a date? Because dates like $250. I remember I had went out. I can't afford one either. I'm being real with you. I'd rather flip my money right now. I'd rather flip. Make as much as I can, put it away, flip it, try to play the markets, stuff like that. Because it's, I mean, don't get me wrong now. You're going to find people out here that's willing to build with you. But the problem is some guys, they don't even want to try that because they assuming that they got to pay for everything. So you can't assume on how a person feel until you talk to her or he or she. That's what I want to say for young people. Like, don't, nobody wants to be alone. I mean, talk to somebody. Maybe they might be willing to help you. You know what I'm saying? Come up together. I was at the Amazon spot this morning. I'm seeing couples up there together, helping each other, help couples. So this is still alive out here, but some people don't even want to try because they feel like they can't afford it. But I mean, shit. If you the type to date, if you can't afford to go out and date and you thinking about gas, you might as well be thinking, hold that money for the gas. The hell with going out. You know what I'm saying? It's just shit. That gas, the way the gas tank is set up. Yep. The way that gas tank is set up now. And it ain't gonna get no better no time soon. It's just the way things are. Some people say, well, if the United States produce a lot of gas and oil, why can't it go down? It's just the way the system is set up globally. It don't work that way. We can't just set our own price. You said too many people on gadgets though. Yeah, and they on the gadgets and they reading certain stuff, so they think that nobody want them because they can't afford a $250, $300 date. It might not be true. You just gotta be outside, but people ain't outside. They are on the gadgets. It's the way it is. Crazy, man. It's something else. And you know, around here, like renting stuff is so crazy. Like, how are you gonna spend $3,000 and you can't walk your puppy outside without risk of getting shot or robbed? Bullshit. I wouldn't be living around that. I don't give a damn how convenient it is to get to New York City. Mm-mm. No, thank you. You said no drink tonight? No, I don't drink. I don't drink no more. You know, wine and stuff like that, I'll do it. No beer, nothing. Actually, one bottle of beer every now and then is good for you, but I just can't do it. But add some water. That's about it. You said they have AI partners. Oh man, I'm seeing that can't be right. Like I do see people with that. They have AI partners and they talk to their phone. You know, through Chat GPT voice. They date that. It's crazy. There's a guy that made $45,000 in 1 month. He created an AI character, an OnlyFans character. Put on OnlyFans. He made $45,000, and it's just people are this for the fantasy of it, I guess. Knowing damn well it could be a whole dude on the other side. It's just crazy. I believe, you know what somebody said, man, we on a different timeline, man. I said, man, I might have to start agreeing with you. Stuff don't flip around, you hear me? It's crazy. There's a samurai guy that walks around here. I saw him when I was driving. He has a samurai hat. You know those big hats they wore in the karate flicks, those big, huge hats? He wears that and the whole outfit, and he has a samurai sword he walks around with. And he's known as the samurai guy. It's crazy. And the way he walks and stuff is how they walked in the movies. He might know some karate. I don't know. I ain't messing with him. He might know a lot of karate. You said the AI partner always says nice, supportive stuff, never back talk. Yeah, some people pay good money for that right there. I can't. Because then I'm going to feel like something wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? At least if somebody give me a back talk, at least they real. Yeah, Steve, a samurai guy. You believe that? I can't make this stuff up. He dressed like one, the hat and everything. And he walks straight with his head looking straight ahead. Like, I'm like, bro. And he got a sword. The cop stopped him one day. The way he was talking to him, it was like, I am headed this way. That is simply what I am doing. It's crazy. Leave that samurai guy alone. I ran into him once. And he's known around town in Newark and stuff. He's known. Like a lot of people know him. But he really walks around with a sharp ass sword though. So he's at the same time they're recording your personal habits. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, people do have the AI partners. You know, in Japan, if you can, you just all you gotta do is search on YouTube Japan or Japanese rent a date or rent a partner economy. People rent people to go out to dinner with. They rent you. It's people that you know they get money to just go out to dinner with you and talk to you. Then after that, they're done. Transaction over. Or you can pay somebody to come snuggle with you for like an hour or two. It's crazy. Or you can pay somebody to go on a date with you, have dinner with you. They have all that in Japan. It's crazy. But anyway, guys, let me get out of here. I will talk to you guys soon. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. And yeah, it'll probably be tomorrow. But if not,